Welcome to Absolute ERP. In previous video, we have covered how to create pro forma invoice. In this video, we will show you how to create invoice or tax invoices from system. Basically, the purpose for creating a tax invoice is to inform the buyer of the total amount of tax payable. If you make taxable sale, your tax-registered customers need an invoice from you to claim their tax credits for purchases. For creating an invoice, simply go to Sales tab. In Sales, you click over an invoice. On the right-hand side, you can see your all created invoices. In our other quotation, sales order, and pro forma invoice videos, we have covered how to convert them into invoice by single click. If you want to create new invoice, simply click over this tab. From this page, you are able to create new invoice. If you have multiple locations, select it. After select, invoice ledgers, invoice date automatically appear. If required, mention customer mobile number and select name through this drop-down option. In our estimation video, we have briefly explained on what basis these drop-down options is coming. Invoice number automatically appeared, basis of your defined series in backend. Mention order number, select due date of this invoice. You also mention date of supply of your invoice to your customer from here. Thereafter, map your salesperson name. You can also create custom fields. As you see, this tally invoice number is a custom field created by Backend. I will show you how to define custom fields in another part of this video. From here, you also define the supply types through this drop-down. Select it. By this option, you can select on what mode you are supplying your items to customer. Select accordingly. If required, mention vehicle type, transportation ID, vehicle number. You can mention transporter details like dock number and transporter name. Through invoice type, you can allow discounts on particular items, level, or you avail discounts on entire invoice. Select according to you. After that, select categories and its items. From here, you can bifurcate the quantity on multiple locations, select, and mention accordingly. System automatically show you the availability of your item in your inventory. Mention quantity. Your item rate is appearing. System automatically show you the previous invoice rate of this item to this customer. If you want to view invoice, simply click and software redirect you over at page. By tax exempt option, you can write of taxes over this invoice. If you want to add multiple items in single invoice, select add another line option and add multiple items. After that, your all calculation has been done. Here, you have an option to mention other charges and freight charges. Software show you the previous balance and balance due against to this customer. This is apply advance to invoice option. If you have received any advance amount against to this customer, you have an option to adjust previous advance amount over this invoice. Select particular amount and proceed accordingly. Here, choose your file, mention terms and condition, notes, bank details, select your customer email ID, and save this invoice. Once you save it, automatically, a PDF of this invoice has been shooted to your customer email ID. Your created invoice is appearing. Before moving to it, let's look at Backend Control part. This is our Backend page of ERP. In Setup and Preferences, you can control major parts of an invoice. On the right-hand side, you see all the control options. Let's look at them. First, if required, you have an option to add extra column in items table. Select it and mention. If required, you enable lockup options. in invoice creation page. Next is invoice order number. You have two options to define the order number. First, in each new invoice creation, you can use the same invoice number series. Second, for each new invoice you create, you can use different invoice number series. Once you click, after it show you, to define particular prefix and start number against of your invoice type, you can select any of these according to your requirement. If you required to create duplicate and triplicate of your invoice, enable this option. If required, you can record customer mobile number in invoice page by enable this option. As you see below, we have some other invoice fields. If required, you can enable order number, due date, date of supply, salesperson option, item details column, item description, detail column, HSN, SAC, option. You able to display GSDIN, option, in invoice, attach file option. You can generate confirmation letters also. Once you enable these tabs, from here, after that, all these features will be displayed at that time of invoice creation. Apart from that, you can predefine the format of terms and condition, notes, bank details, retail invoice, terms and condition, retail invoice, customer notes. Below, you can set multiple level of approvals. You can also set email notification for approvals. Select it, define hierarchy of approval. Finally, save it. From this tab, you can define your custom fields, create your custom fields, and save it. From here, you can define your packing slips settings. I have pre-defined the standard format of my packing slip, and these same will display over it. Finally, look at your created invoice by given filter above categories, your specific invoice. Click over it, unique number. This is your created tax invoice is appearing. From here, you can edit, download it into PDF, share it on WhatsApp, take a print. From here you can receive an amount against of this specific invoice. For receiving amount, click over it. Now you redirect to its specific page. Your amount has been appeared. This is editable. If your customer deducted TDS, select it, mention TDS amount, from which section mention, select deposit date of your amount, mention mode of deposit, bank transfer, cash in hand, accordingly select. As I have selected bank transfer, software asking me in which bank. If required, you can mention reference number and check number. Below, software show you unpaid invoices against of this customer. You can see the invoice number with amount. You able to set off this payment against of unpaid. If required, mention specific note, select customer email ID, then attach file, and by clicking save option, your amount has been received against of this invoice. This is post-dated check. If you get a check for post date, you can add it by clicking on this tab. Then mention required details of these tab and add it. Later, 3 days before, our software will automatically remind you about this check through notification. In more option, you can print packing slip, mark as cancel, create sales return, credit notes, create a separate clone of this invoice, and you can delete it also. In today's video, we have shown you how to create invoice or tax invoice. If you want to know more about Absolute ERP, stay tuned with our other videos. Thanks for watching.